That's it.
We are live.
Now we're live. Yes.
This is real.
This is real. This is the real deal.
Okay.
All right. So right now we're on Eric and Cody's Facebook page going live, and we're probably on LinkedIn. So this just kind of popped out of the blue for anybody that might come across this. But why are we here, guys? You tell me.
Man, this is episode 1 of a show to be named later.
Okay. I like it.
Man, we started talking a while back about information and education in roofing. Mm-hmm. Like we get invited to stuff and manufacturer shows or, roofing expos and things like that. But a lot of times in our business, we're super busy.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for us to make the time. So I think the end goal of all this, if you would agree, is one, to educate ourselves, maybe talking to some other people, and then educate others in the industry who might have questions like us or just always want to become better at our craft. And then educate homeowners along the way. I think there's a lot of information out there where it can be like so much information. It's just like, I don't know what's what. Where do I begin? But then there's a lot of misinformation too when it comes to roofing. More specifically, in a year like we've had this year where there's a ton of storms and tons of roofers and people knocking on your door every day. Like, I don't know what's what anymore. Do I trust the roofer? Do I trust the insurance company? What's going on? So I see this, who knows of all the dozens of people that may ever watch this.
I call it tens of tens.
Tens of tens. Hopefully we provide a little bit of information, have fun along the way, and talk to a lot of people that we, know and respect, and just hopefully provide a little information and fun to other people out there too. So
we're doing this is like a test run for you guys to try to figure out if you like it. And if
there's going to be a lot more people that have a lot more knowledge about things
for sure.
Than we do. So, we've got our own little niche of roofing and people that we touch and customers, but we have the idea and other folks that want to come on and talk and talk about more, what they do, be it manufacturers, insurance agents, realtors, and how all that collides in the roofing industry. So this is get to know me and Eric and why maybe we are the right or wrong people for this platform. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about ourselves today. And, Mike here as the moderator is really good at this stuff. So he's going to interject at times. Actually, the first time we did this was what, Mike, probably a year or two.
Well, you were my on my podcast that I've been doing for a little while now. You were actually my very first episode. You were number 1, and I got plans for you because once I get to a certain number, I'm bringing you back. I'm bringing you back. I'm bringing you back because I want to make sure that I give proper due where it's needed.
Right on.
But
that's
right. But enough about me. So why did you guys? Or let's start here. How come? If I was a customer or if I was in the roofing industry, what credibility do you get? Where have you guys come from? How'd you get into roofing? Why should I listen and pay attention? What do you know about stuff?
So we're going to take it way back.
Okay.
And I'll jump in just because I go a little further back than Eric, and I'll bring it to him. So, I feel strange because we're going to talk about a lot of the things that you talked about, but I went to A&M and I got a degree in industrial distribution, which is kind of broad-based engineering and business. And actually used my degree ever so briefly. Graduated. Yeah, I moved to Houston.
Went to A&M to be a roofer.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad would be so proud. We spent all that money to do that. But no, so I did that, and yes, so that was the beginning. And here I am now as a roofer. And there's lots of things that happened in between to bring me to this point. But I've been doing this now since 2016. And what brought me over here was I was actually working with another friend who's actually going to be on hopefully our next episode.
Nice.
In the insurance business. And I was working with him, and to be honest, he is by far and away the best person in the insurance business that I know. Everybody sitting at this table knows him. But
Are we talking about Brad?
We're talking about Brad. Can we talk about Brad?
Yes, talk about Brad. Talk about Bingham. It's fine.
Maybe
he's watching. Maybe he's on here.
I'm sure he's live. Right now.
He's locked in.
But working with Brad, I had the ability to learn a lot about the insurance business. And I learned a couple things in the insurance business. One, I'm not built for the insurance business. And not because of anything with that. It's just that I'm an outdoors guy. Right? I don't do well behind the desk. I'm always on the go, meeting with people, networking, this and that. And I didn't thrive in that. But during that time, I was referring a lot of business to a guy on the roofing side. And through our conversations and learning more about what he's doing out in his truck and scoping jobs and meeting with people and insurance adjusters, I was like, man, it was just kind of blowing my skirt up a little bit. So
I like that term.
Yeah,
blowing
so
your skirt up.
It was a hard conversation, with Brad, because Brad's a dear friend. I mean, gosh, I've known Brad now for probably 35 years.
Yeah.
But I knew in my heart of hearts that wasn't where I was supposed to be. And strangely enough, through all of the various employment that I've had over the years, and I have a vast resume.
We all do, sir. We all do.
Hey, but all of those experiences lead you to where you are today. And strangely enough, it led me to roofing. And I've really found out in the past year, more than any, like I am supposed to be in the roofing industry. It's where I find happiness. It's where I feel that I provide value to customers and other people out there through the knowledge that I've gained and the people I've interacted with, which again is what I see this platform being.
Yeah.
Is just educating people and providing some value. So
you got to do you got to go where your passion leads
Yeah.
you, right? Like if you don't like doing something every day, then you're not going to be very successful at it.
No doubt, and it did. I realized early on that I was, in my mind, pretty good at this, right? And not because I sold X amount or did this or that. I did find happiness at the end of the day. There is a lot of stress when we get into production. I mean, every day we're dealing with some sort of stress, but it's fun. I mean, like we meet so many cool people along the way, and we'll get into all of them too. But it's a lot of fun. And this year I had another business not too long ago that we recently gotten out of, but I found there was so much pressure and so much stress on that it was almost, I don't know, catatonic. It's probably not the right word, but I was just kind of, it was suffocating.
Well, you know what? I think, not to cut you off there, but there is a situation, and this happens to me, by the way, all the freaking time. Is I think we get into a place where we're doing something right that we like to do, but then something else comes along. We're like, ooh,
look at that shiny.
I wonder how fun that would be to do, right? And I'm doing pretty good at this. I could probably do pretty good at that, And then you want to try this a little bit. You want to dabble over here, then you want to dabble over there, and you keep getting distracted by all these different activities. And if you go back and you look at any of the, whatever you want to call them, the gurus that tell you about work. The most important thing, like if you like the Warren Buffetts and the billionaires of the world, they say focus.
Yeah.
Focus on one thing and be the best at that thing. Right. Because if you try to be the best at 2 or 3 things, you're going to be kind of shitty at all of it, right? Just be really, really good at that one thing.
And I learned that this year too, for sure. And so being back with eye on the prize, so to speak, it's really made me love and appreciate this business, more than anything else I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do anything else. And I think in the roofing industry, there is a lot of negativity about this. There's
you guys are crooks. What are you talking about?
Look at us. Well, and so you asked that
Shysters.
question a while ago, right? Like, why would anybody want to work with us or know and trust us? And that's it. Yeah. Like there are two. You can accuse me of a lot of things, but I am loyal and I've got integrity. Yeah. To the end of the day, no matter
you're a good-looking guy. I mean, let's be honest.
Hey. Obviously, man. Look at the 3.
Hey, we're all 3 in the room together. We're doing shady stuff here.
But no, that's it. And yes, we build a quality product. We use quality stuff on every roof. But at the end of the day, we tell you the truth. Yeah. And if we can do something, we're going to tell you we can do it. If we can't, we're going to tell you that. We're not going to try to pretend to be anything that we're not. And that's why, the 2 people sitting at this table right now, and sorry, Eric, I'm hogging the mic.
You're fine. I'll talk on episode 2.
Yeah. That'll be, Eric and such.
Yeah, Eric and such. Yeah.
Eric kind of brought his way to me and said, hey, tell me more about what you're doing, and I'll let him tell that story. But I would never let anybody, attach their name to 10 Gauge Ridge Roofing unless they were cut from the same cloth as me.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, it's just down to integrity.
Yeah.
We're never going to screw anybody, no matter what. And if we screw something up, we're going to fix it, even if it costs us money. And that's Eric to a T. Our wives jack with us all the time because we're the same person. I mean, we obviously look.
I mean, you both got on like the button-up shirts. You got the hat. You're just missing the glasses, Eric. That's all you need at this point.
My eyes are I wasn't wearing glasses.
He's quite a bit older than me. So.
Well, we won't talk about that today. That's episode 2.
So, Eric, how did you have y'all known each other for a long time, or did you?
Yes, we've known each other. So our kids are
pull that mic a little. Put that thing right in your mouth.
There we go.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Easy.
Our
youngest son's became like best of friends back in preschool.
Okay.
And I actually knew Cody's sister back in high school.
Oh yeah.
We went. Yeah. Oh yeah. We went to the same high school.
Well, and that's the end of episode 1.
Catch you next time. And so Cody and I went to the same high school, but we were a couple of grades apart. And
He's significantly older. I understand.
Absolutely. And so
I just didn't associate it
with the younger
peons.
classmen. Absolutely. So, and then our sons became best friends in preschool, and we joke about this all the time with our wives, that if our wives were the ones to drop our sons off at preschool, this friendship and the family vacations and all the things that we do together probably wouldn't have happened.
Never happened.
Our wives are kind of similar, and Cody and I are very similar. So we would sit out there and BS at the parking lot of preschool for 15, 20 minutes every day and became buddies.
Yeah.
And I was in the corporate world for a long time, going through the grind.
What were you doing?
I sold telecommunications for a large global telecom company.
See, when I hear
generic.
that, all I hear is
Super
IT.
generic.
And so he is the worst IT
I'm not
guy.
IT.
I couldn't figure out my password to get into this friggin' thing. He could do nothing about
I'm not
it.
IT. We sold networks.
Okay.
Okay. And it was a good job. It was a great career. Was successful, but just the rat race is real.
Working for the man.
Working
sucks.
for the man. It became a grind. And I started finding myself irritable and just not doing well with the kind of balance of work and life. It was work.
Yeah.
And I watched Cody, kind of take the leap into going into roofing and watched his success. And one day, sitting around literally just cooking out at the house, was like, hey, my wife actually brought it up. She's like, hey, Eric might come sell roofs with you. And I was like, well, okay, let's talk about this. And he was like, well, come on, let's take a ride. Let's go. So I remember riding around with him a couple times, turned in a couple more times. And he was introducing me to folks in the industry, be it distributors or manufacturers reps. And I was like, I think I could do
that's
this.
where it began. Actually, you were going to talk to Nick.
I talked to Nick. Yeah.
He was going to look at getting into distribution.
That's where I was just kind of headed.
I think with anything, like you got to really want it if you're going to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
And
a big one.
I probably more than anything tried to talk him out of it to a certain extent, because
I would agree with that.
It's hard. Like timing has a lot to do with this. Who has a lot to do with this. So you can come in at this fail. So like you got to really believe and know and have the stones to jump in and be all right. And so strangely enough, he met with two of the best guys in the distribution industry, and we're going to have them on for sure. But then,
and so talking to them, I that was my focus. Was like, well, I've done industrial sales before telecom. I've done telecom. Maybe I go into the distribution world. And after talking with them, and Nick actually called me afterwards and was kind of gave me some great advice. He was like, you should probably go work with Cody. And I think he had the same conversation with Cody. Yeah. And it just turned into, fortunately, I was lucky that my wife has a great job as a nurse, and I was able to kind of take this leap. And I was like, I've seen his success. I've seen Cody rise. And I really enjoyed on the ride-alongs going to homeowners, because it was like in the telecom world, my customer base was so, I didn't know some of them. It was just, I was quoting things. They were ordering things. It was whatever. Right. Here, I was talking to the homeowner.
Yeah, it wasn't personal.
This is personal.
Yeah.
I'm talking to someone about your home, and how can I be honest, and how can I have integrity? How can we do the best for you? Right. And Cody said it earlier, educate. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And so being able to educate and kind of owning that responsibility has been really rewarding. And so I finally was like, hey, I think I want to do this. Let's take a leap. And so 2.5 years, here we are, doing a podcast.
I told him this. Yeah. Once I wish I could remember who told me this, but once you're in roofing, once you're here for 2 years, you're in it for life. That's what everybody says.
Like the mob,
it is. You're in. So he knows all the secrets, so he can go nowhere. But yeah, it's funny. I obviously took the same leap all those years ago, and I don't know that I would have ever seen myself here. I went to work for another roofing company, and I guess that takes me back, entrepreneurship, right? I went to work for another company with no real visions of owning my own company again, because I had done that previously. And here we are all these years later. And I think what brought us to this side is, again, that misinformation. And I don't want to badmouth the industry, because it is a great industry, but there are just so many horror stories that happen every year. And I'm like, we can do this different.
Well, I think your industry is such that it's really not incredibly dissimilar from what I do with lending, because when you have these, it's a different microcosm, but when you have these big boom and bust periods of time. So for you guys, the boom period is right after the storm, right? Storm season. And so you have these, like, I'm sure you have these fly by night roofing companies that know that there's quick money to be made because they just got to dupe a few people to let them go in and handle stuff and then move out. And then what it does is it gives all of the people that have been in the industry for 15 years, 10 years, whatever, it gives you guys a bad name as a whole because there's a couple, it's the whole,
rotten apple.
Yep. A few rotten apples spoils the bunch, right? So I don't think it's that, it's, you're not bad mouthing it. It's just, it's the reality of the situation because the business is set up to where people coming into it can make a quick dollar because nobody know if you don't get your right. If you don't get your roof replaced every year, which people don't, then you don't know how the process works. You don't know what's happening.
And insurance claims are a daunting task.
Yes,
people are very fearful of.
I hate insurance.
Very fearful.
Sorry, Brad.
And so, yeah, it's an overwhelming task to say, I have to go file a claim. I have to go get a roofer. I have to go do this process. Yeah. And like Cody said earlier,
and all along the way, there's 3 people who can screw me.
Yeah. Yes.
At every turn.
At every turn. And people are knocking my door every day. Like our neighborhood got hit and I've got 5 roofers every day knocking on my door. It's overwhelming. Yeah. And if you've not been through this, or even if you were through this and you maybe had a bad experience before, you don't want to go down that road again. Right. And so like Cody said, we're just trying to be, an honest, be totally transparent with you and just walk everybody through this process that, like, it doesn't have to be this bad. We're here to help. Yeah. And here's some of the ways that we can help you guys do this.
Well, and I think part of that, we talk about the misinformation and stuff like that. We've talked about this a lot, again, I'm going to go back to Brad. And again, Brad is a phenomenal agent, but we deal with a lot of homeowners who don't have people like
Brad. They don't have a Brad in their corner.
They sell them insurance and they move on. Yep. They don't care what happens. And if they happen to call that agency and say, hey, I've got to file a claim, somebody in their office may be giving them like the total wrong information. Yep. But because they sold them a policy, the homeowners feel like, oh my gosh, well, everything they're telling me is correct.
Yeah. Yeah. They trust their insurance versus the guy standing on their doorstep.
Yeah. And rightfully so, because of the stories. Your insurance agent's never taken a check and going to Vegas. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But there's a lot of stuff that harms homeowners through the claims process because they just don't know. And as we see, Texas, or DFW rather, is, one of the hottest hail markets in the United States. But even if you're still only doing this, every 5-10 years. Yeah. So you're never getting a real education on what it is you have to do through this process. So if this can be a platform for homeowners and other people in the industry, there's other roofers out there who probably don't even know the stuff that we've run into with other agencies who are telling homeowners, oh my gosh, don't file a claim. Your homeowners rates are going to go through the roof. They're going to drop you if you file a claim. Wait a minute, what? Yeah. What? It's actually your responsibility. Yeah. If you have a storm, that you have to have it looked into. So we want to be a cut above. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that want to do the same thing. And so, if we can bring like-minded people to the table who just want to educate and do it the right way, that's the ultimate goal.
It's the best thing for the business.
Well, that's what brings people to businesses like yours, is because, whenever you spend time explaining stuff to folks, and that's, anybody that's looking for roofing or having to deal with hail issues or whatever, I'm probably phrasing it wrong, but whatever, when you have somebody come to your door and it's that slick guy that's telling you, hey, we're going to do this. Oh, it won't be a problem. Don't you worry about it. I got it under control, whatever. People sometimes will hand it over because they're just like, I guess this is how it's supposed to be. So, okay, good. But I always tell people, even on the lending side of stuff, like if there's something in your gut that's telling you that I don't feel comfortable
here,
walks
like a duck and squawks like a duck,
then don't, because I promise you it's no different than, I'll give you a story. So we were just talking about earlier, buying a car, right? So my wife, Susan, we just bought a car for our daughter. She's about to turn 16. So we just did this the other day. Well, I don't shop for shit. I don't look like I'm like, that's on you. You figure that out.
Products, Mike?
Not my, no, I don't know hair products. I'm not looking for stuff, but Susan was out looking for the cars and doing her thing when she had found a couple that she liked, and she went to a dealership in Arlington or something and found a car, talked to the guy. She calls me. She's like, man, the deal's pretty good. It's not bad, but I don't like this guy. Like, I don't like this sales guy. Like he tried to sell her the $2,000, reconditioning charge. It's like, I don't need you. You're going to wash the car and you're going to charge me $2,000, no. But because she had done some research and looked up it herself. Well, then some other car she had looked at a couple weeks before was in Mansfield. And so she went there and he had called us like, hey, this car just came back. We just lowered the price $2,000. And so she's like, all right, well, let me go look at that one. So she shows up there. she does like the car better, but the guy is he explains everything very, very well. He's very low pressure. He's educating her on the car, what the capability are compared to the other cars that she was looking at, all of that stuff. And she called me and she's like, this is a better car and I like it, but I just trust this guy way more
Absolutely.
than
Trust
I trust
factor is huge.
It's huge.
Well, and that happens with us a lot too. I mean, when we're doing cash deals, I think we're not the cheapest guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we
No.
ever even try to be
We don't want to be,
necessarily. And for good reason. We're going to warranty this
You
roof.
get what you pay for.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
And so but people buy from us, I feel
Right.
like more often than not for that very reason. I'm not going to pressure you.
Right.
Listen, I'm here to help you out. Like if you don't trust me, I get it, but we do everything we can to educate them and give them all of the information that they need to make a good decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't ever want to be the sleazy guy who pulls that.
So if you were talking to somebody, Eric, if y'all were talking to somebody that was coming to you, for a claim or looking to get something checked out, like, it had some issues, what would the process look like? Like, how would y'all go through, what you would do to help that customer out?
First and foremost, it goes with the inspection. So you have to go out and inspect the roof, and you have to give an honest assessment. I mean, especially during storm season, especially with all those door knockers out there, there's a lot of folks that get told you need to file a claim. You have damage.
Yeah.
Haven't even been on the roof yet. I can see it from your front porch.
See it on the ground.
I can see it from here.
If anybody ever tells you they can see the hail from the ground,
just shut your
just
door.
say
Tell
you
them
need to go.
politely. You need to leave my property.
I don't care how big the hail is. Odds are they cannot see.
Well, what if they're like psychic or something?
Well,
Yeah.
There's that. But,
Right.
But yeah, we give an honest assessment. So we walk the property kind of the way an adjuster would, an insurance adjuster would. We're going to look at all the different collateral areas. We're going to inspect the property, and then we're going to come down. We're going to have an honest conversation, and it's going to be like, look, we found this, and this on your roof. This justifies storm damage, and we feel that it's in your best interest because, again, you have a vested interest with your insurance company to maintain responsibility of this home and the integrity of this home. So we're going to advise that you file a claim. Here's the storm date. Here's all the information. And then we walk through kind of the process. Here's what to expect. Right. All carriers are a little bit different. Some folks have their own licensed adjusters that come out. Some have inspectors that come out. We kind of walk through that process. But the inverse can happen, which is odd. I feel like we're kind of, hopefully this sets us apart, is that we can come down after maybe a door knocker was there, or maybe they just thought they had some hail, or every roof in the neighborhood is getting done. Maybe I need to call somebody. We very often have come down off the roof and said, hey, you don't have any damage. It's not time. You don't need to file a claim. It's not worth it. There's maybe a couple of repairs they would pay, but it wouldn't be worth your time to do so. We can make some small repairs for you and get you through to the next storm season or whatever it may be.
And I think that was really apparent this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you were there. I don't know if it hit your house as much, but
I got that metal roof, bro. So
it's built out of tank material.
That's right. Nothing's messing with my roof.
It's Decra, by the way.
Decabond.
Decra?
Decrabond, right? I used to put on roofs when I was a kid.
Decra's awesome.
I put those roofs up. It was
no joke.
It was me and this other like 400-pound. I was like, "How are you getting up on this roof, bro?" But he was.
Those shingles will dent.
Yeah, like he was a big
They're not
boy.
that strong, man.
Yeah, it was quite the summer, but I made good money that summer. But yeah,
no, but we saw it in Mansfield and probably
in particular, right in our backyard.
Yeah, so over on the country club, they got hail. I mean, it was. Bigger than a baseball.
Oh yeah,
as big as a baseball.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Alien looking with all the spikes and stuff on it.
And so
UFOs
I'm
are
at a Ranger
dropping in
game that night, and I'm getting texts with pictures like.
We're kind of getting geeked up.
You and Eric are high fiving, like, let's go.
Kind of getting geeked up.
Yeah. So get home that night, and I'm up, still dark, ready to go for the day, and we start getting on roofs. I'm like, wait a minute, like this makes zero sense. Why am I not seeing hail here?
Yeah.
And we go to the next house, same thing. Like, what is happening? It's giant hail, but it was like a snow cone hitting your roof, essentially. So, but man, that morning.
Oh, it wasn't dense enough, basically.
Right.
Okay.
It hadn't fully formed on the way down.
Gotcha.
So there was a core to it because people's cars were getting dinged up.
Right.
And we would see some hits on the roof, but when you're getting baseball sized stuff,
you should see
the
roof should
massive.
be blasted.
Yeah.
In insurance, they're looking for 10 to 12 hits in a 10 by 10 square. And I was finding 2 maybe in a square, but it was just odd because there was, I don't know how many roofing companies in the neighborhood.
Oh, sure.
And so people are just in a frenzy, like, oh my gosh, we got to file claims. And we're telling people, actually, no.
You don't.
And when we're getting pushback from homeowners saying,
like, I saw it, I have it in my freezer right
I've
now.
got
it's
it right
big.
here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, trust me, I would love.
Yeah, I want to do your roof.
I want to replace your roof.
Yes.
But I've got to have something to hang my hat on here and be able to tell adjusters. So we do that a lot. We tell people don't file a claim more than we tell them to file a claim.
Yeah.
And it's typically after, they've reached out to a referral or they've had a door knocker come by and like, yeah, go ahead, get up there. Whether they know they're going to use us or not, yeah, go ahead and get up there and take a look. And they come down and, they say, hey, yeah, you need to file a claim. You got damage up there. And then we get the phone call kind of as a second look, so to speak. And we're like, I don't know what they were looking at. I don't know what they saw, but you don't have the damage. It's not, insurance is not going to do anything for you right now. It's not worth your time.
But that is what drives people to call you back later, because I had that exact experience. It wasn't with the roof, it was with foundation on one of our houses when we were younger. We had somebody come out from I won't name the names, but they came out from one company, and this lady comes walking in with old, she's probably 65, 70 years old. She's looking at a realtor, really, and she's walking around with this little wheel, and she's like, oh yeah, you definitely got damage, and she's like writing it all up. And she was like, the quote's going to be, it was like $15,000. And my wife and I are like, oh, geez, what are we going to do? And then, we're like, well, let's just call one other company and see what happens. So we called somebody else. They come out. The guy walks around for about 20 minutes, and he comes back and he's like, you guys are okay. And like, wait a minute. But this other lady said we needed 10 piers or whatever. And then now he explained, okay, here's what they're doing. Yes, your house has a little bit of offset, but it's natural. It's normal. There's nothing that's unusual. There's no cracks, no issues, blah, blah, blah. Everything looks good. But, could you have stuff in the future? Maybe. But right now you're totally fine. So we didn't replace our foundation. We were, we went with the guy, like, we're fine.
Education piece.
Yes. And we even got an engineer to come out and do, because when we went to sell it, just to make sure, and he was correct. It was fine. I've referred that company, All Pro Foundation. I've referred that company to no less than 50 people in my life because of that one guy that came in.
It's fine. I'll tell a similar story. So it was, I don't know how many years ago, probably 3 years ago. And a realtor actually asked me to go out and look at a roof that was getting ready to sell, or potentially going to sell. I got up there and look at the roof, and just a little degranulation, which industry is just losing some granules. No storm damage, anything like that. And so I look all over. I come down and I'm talking to the homeowners like, hey, I don't see anything. I think you're going to be fine to sell the home. Insurance isn't going to push back on you at all. Good to go. Left it at that. I never thought twice about that house again.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward maybe 6 months later, Gage, my son, is playing basketball on a team, and there's that homeowner. And we
on the same team?
On the same team.
Yeah.
And we start talking and getting to know each other. Baseball, I guess, rather. We start talking and getting to know each other. He's like, I know you. He's like, you're the roofer who got on my house and told me I didn't have any damage. I was like, oh, yeah. I remembered him. He says, I'm actually a State Farm adjuster. And he said, I saved your card from that day because you're the only honest roofer that ever got on my roof and told me the truth. And I was like, and that's coming from an adjuster.
Yeah.
Right. So he knew, he was totally expecting me to come in
and try to say, file a claim. Yeah. You got damage, and that's part of the industry that we're trying to overcome.
Well, that's the thing I think people don't understand sometimes is if you just are honest with folks and you tell them the truth, and it's not a transactional deal, and it's all about developing your relationships and making sure that your integrity is the most important thing, it all comes back to you. Like it doesn't, you'll get, business will come. If you do the right thing consistently, you will be successful if you really want to.
Yeah. And I think we've done a really good job. I mean, Eric's done a fantastic job of that with relationships. I told Hope, his wife, and him when he first started, like, he's going to be way better than me because he handles himself with such confidence. I mean, even when he first got into it, he didn't know shit from Shanghai about roofing, but he was honest with people. It's like, I don't see it. And if he didn't see it, he'd call me and we'd come take a look at it. But he's done a really good job. And he would go in, hey, let's just do a repair here.
Yeah.
And I mean, here's pulling back the curtain. As roofers, we don't make anything
on repairs.
Repairs are not fun.
We spend as much time on repairs as we do a regular roof, and we make nothing for it. But
you're building relationships.
And we hope that
the day you need
us. That when that storm comes, that you remember what we did.
Yeah. Well, and I think most people do, especially if they've had it happen before, or you've come out for some other reason and they like you, they keep your information. Like, okay, well, when I have a claim, I'm definitely calling these guys because I know they're going to take care of me. Yeah. And that's a big thing.
I'll shift a little bit and we can talk about this and we might have talked about this, Mike, last time. I think back.
By the way, nobody watched the last one, so you're fine.
Not one. Well, I'm sure. I did like 20 times.
I watched it several times.
No, I'm sure there's people, but
me, my mom, my mom. I don't even think Jenny finished it. She's like, I'm out. This is not good.
This is all about roofing.
Yes. So you could talk. You could restate. Yeah. It's totally fine.
Oh, no, I lost my train of thought. But
well, there is a side what you guys are trying to do with this because the reason we're doing this first one is because we want to make sure that you're comfortable. And by the way, I think you're going to be fine. I don't think you're going to have any problems. But the second thing is you're going to talk about roofing and you're going to talk about the customer side of roofing from time to time, right?
Absolutely.
That's definitely a part of it. But like we've talked about when we discussed doing this whole thing, the average Joe is not going online to look at a podcast about roofing, right?
No.
Nobody, they don't care, right?
Well,
But there are in the industry, which is really where I think you guys are trying to focus this thing,
Absolutely.
is talking about what is happening in the roofing industry, what's occurring with manufacturers and distributors, and is there new technologies in roofing? I don't know.
Absolutely.
There is.
Yeah, big
Absolutely.
time.
There is.
Yeah, big
Actually.
time. But what's funny is, and so yes, this is that for guys in the industry, guys like me, and maybe there's some other guys out there doing this. I don't know. I don't see it, but it never fails. Right about storm season, all the manufacturers and all these guys want to have training classes. I'm like, bro, we're on roofs from sun up to sun. I don't have time. I would love to learn about it and gain more knowledge about it. But if I had somewhere like this, to go and give it,
we're all in the
minutes.
truck. We're all in the truck all day long.
So
every day.
To listen to something like this would be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know how much anybody's learning today other than who we are. And I don't think either of us intend to tell anybody, hey, we are the greatest roofers, in the history of roofing. But
if you did say that, I wouldn't trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like
but we have the connections and the resources to people who know a hell of a lot more than us about their specific topic, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think we can do a really good job of bringing those people together. I think that's what Eric and I are actually really good at, is getting to know people and bringing people together who kind of share the same outlook on the industry and maybe just life in general.
Right, yeah.
Birds of a feather thing coming together. So I think that's what this can be. So anyway, that's on a tangent.
So do you guys think that when it comes to like where roofing is headed, or whatever you want to call it, is there a, like for your business, for example, you were talking about, are you trying to keep it small? Are you wanting to grow? Like, what are you guys looking to do for the future?
I mean, if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Right.
So yes, we absolutely we want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
When Eric came on 2 years ago, I mean, we grew big time.
Yeah.
Right?
The
We
company
won
doubled.
first team.
Yeah.
So we want to do that, but we want to do it in the right way. So the industry is changing to a certain extent.
Well, real quick on that, I thought of something. So right now, and this is a, I think this is a topic that people are dealing with. That there are people that are what I would call job insecure, right? Yeah. I think there's people out there that either have lost their job recently or feel like there may be an issue where they could lose their job soon. And like you, Eric, where they were working for the man, right? It's not exactly the most appealing thing. So if you were talking to someone that was like, I'm thinking about maybe getting into roofing, I think I might want to sell, I think I could do a pretty good job, what would you tell them?
I'll let you answer first.
I think that I think you have to have a couple things. I think you should explore it. Absolutely explore it. I think if you are a person who sales is
specifically to work for 10 gauge roofing, by the way,
specifically,
why would you work for anyone else?
That's right.
Sales is a different animal. Like some people are really great at their job, regardless of the day to day. Sales is different. You've got to be able to talk to people. It's communication and it's relationship building.
Yep.
If you have those skills, it really doesn't matter what widget you're selling, right? You can sell anything, but you have to be able to make a connection with someone. And we kind of have a mantra, if you will, and this is kind of as our growth model is, and we want to grow, it will be, we kind of treat every home and homeowner as it's your grandma's house. Like if we're going to hire this guy and he's going to come out and represent the name, he's going to wear the brand, he needs to treat this property and this home as if it's his grandmother's house. How would you want someone knocking on your grandmother's door and
because we do get a lot of grandmothers.
There's a lot of grandmothers out there. And so how do we build that culture?
Right.
And if you have a sales mentality and you have a go get them type of attitude, and it sounds cliche, but it really is, it's a grind, and it's kind of, there's peaks and valleys, right? You've got storm season and then you've got several months without it. I mean, we're in production, but there's also several months without it.
Yeah.
So if you can put all those things together and you have that capability, give us a call. We'd love to meet with you. We'd love to talk with you. And that's the kind of guy that we want to bring in to kind of grow this business. But it's got to be, it doesn't have to necessarily be cut from the same cloth, but it does have to be somebody who has integrity, because that's the backbone of who we are. Because as we talked about earlier, the industries, it goes in so many different directions, but we are trying to be a cut above.
Yeah.
And he's spot on. So I think we struggle probably answering this question to a certain extent because of where we came from.
Right.
We came to this a little bit later in life. it's hard to believe we are the age that we are.
I don't know.
now.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Oh, yeah, you're super old. Look at all that gray in his beard, man.
Yeah.
You see that? I don't see any gray in mine.
Just for men.
Just for men. I was just looking at that. I'm going to have to.
No, please don't.
I won't.
You will be let go.
Yeah, I will be let go.
immediately.
That's grounds for
There's-
choice.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay, Eric. It's fine.
Yeah. Be who you are.
That's
That's
right.
right.
So when I got into this, I don't know that I would have taken the leap of faith had I not had my wife in the position that she was in.
Uh-huh.
Because
Same
when
boat.
you come into this, it is, straight commission.
Eat what you kill.
It's
That's
true.
it.
Feast or famine.
You got
It really
no
is.
insurance.
Yep.
You're an independent subcontractor.
Yep.
You're getting 1099 at the end of the year. That's how it goes.
Yep.
And so for a, late 30s guy with kids, I
It's
don't know
daunting.
that I would
Yeah.
have done it without
Yep.
that. Having my wife have the insurance and all that, it certainly played into what went into my whole thought process getting into this. So I think that's why we struggle with it. But I think anybody who has that work ethic and is not afraid to talk to people, who's not afraid to network and do the business development, it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason there's so many roofing companies in DFW alone, and the numbers vary. And I hear 3,500 to 7,000 in DFW alone. And all these guys are making money one way or another. So it can be done.
Yeah.
But you got to have the work ethic. Nobody's telling you to get out of bed in the morning.
Yep.
So
You're
gotta
not punching
get
a
up.
clock. You
Nope.
got to go out and you got to
Nope.
do it.
So you can play as much golf as you want, or you
Right.
can work as much as you want.
Yeah.
And so it's there for those guys. But if you're a young guy and you're not necessarily having to,
Strapped with all those damn responsibilities,
stuff,
kids
right?
and wives.
Sports
yeah,
and whatnot.
you can, man, if I would have done this when I was 20 years old,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
King of the
I wouldn't
world,
have
bro.
known- I would have known what to do with myself.
Right.
Truly.
Yeah.
So there's different points in life, I think, where this could be really easy or a little bit harder. But like anything, I think timing plays a part in it.
Yeah.
Who you know. I mean, I know from my standpoint in doing it later in life, it boiled down to who I knew. I mean,
Yeah.
I am the friggin' poster child where it's who you know, not what you know.
There you go.
And
Hey,
that's
that's
helped me.
everybody, man. That's everybody.
It's true though.
Yeah.
I mean, so DFW is a big place, and you go up to Plano and Fairview and Aledo, but it's strange. Like whenever there's a storm, we happen to know somebody.
The
Yeah.
phone
There's
rings.
somebody
Yeah,
there.
we-
And that's kind of our deal too. If we can plant a flag in 1 yard there, I feel like, pardon me, through the way we present ourselves and, holding ourselves to a higher level, people are going to call us.
Yeah.
And since we've done that from the inception of this company and Eric joining the company, we've done pretty well.
I mean,
And
it's 100% referral,
Yeah.
and so to have the confidence of the last customer give you the next customer,
Yeah.
like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
and that's how we work.
that's-
Currently, that's all we do.
That's-
We work 100% off of referrals.
Yeah.
Real estate agents, insurance agents, homeowners,
Previous
friends,
customers,
family
yeah.
members. That's how we get our business. So if we crap the bed
Yeah.
on one,
Yeah.
that's probably 3 to 5 customers that
That's
we're
a
not
big
going to
deal.
get.
That's a
So
big
it's
deal.
really important on how we handle our business. And so, yeah, if we want to grow, that's the type of guy we want. I don't care if he's 19 and he's been working in a Jiffy Lube.
Right.
Like, man, if you want to get up and go to work and make some money,
Want to
come
hustle?
on, let's
Yeah.
go.
Got
Let's go.
integrity and you want to hustle. Let's
Yeah,
We're
go.
going to help you.
We're here.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, I mean, riding the truck with me for 2 weeks, or Eric, I mean, we didn't know.
Do they have to
anything.
sit in the middle if they ride together? Like, or
Potentially.
okay.
Potentially.
Well, it'd be good for Eric because
is that
he's
like
been
a-
sitting in the
Yeah,
middle.
I've been sitting in the middle for a while now, so I'd love to move
and
to
it's
the
a
outside.
3-seater, and he still sits right near me. It's so weird.
I didn't know if that was part of
I
roofing
usually have my
hazing.
arm around.
You know, if they were required to sit in between you or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
but-
not part of roofing; it's just part of Cody.
Yeah.
That's a little weird, but those are the ABCs of me.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but no, we are absolutely looking to grow in the next year, and I think partially that's what we're doing here too. Is we want to let people know who we are, and bring like-minded people over to work with us if they see fit. Because we're not a huge company. There's some big companies out there with big bank accounts and stuff like that, and we're not that. We're not trying.
And we
to
don't
be
aspire to be that. Yeah.
No, I mean, we want to be a sizable company, for sure. And we're already pseudo sizable, if you want to call it that. But we just want to grow in the right way with the right people. And there's plenty of guys we'd like to see join our team. But the whole thing that we offer that I think others can't, like, I'm not going to pay you a salary. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and say, yeah, jump on board. I'm going to give you $100,000 a year to come climb on roofs. It's not how it's going to work.
That,
Right.
yeah.
But you come over, I'm going to show you every invoice and everything we got. It's going to be 100%
Totally
transparent.
transparent.
Yeah.
And and if you're willing to get up every morning and go to work, you're going to make good money.
You'll do well.
So we talked in the very beginning, talked about you guys a little bit. Then we talked a little bit about the roofing process and getting claims and whatnot. And then we just talked about, if you want to get into roofing, here's what it looks like, which I think if you guys, do carry on with this, I think you'll have a little bit of all that and these things going forward. Yeah. So the last part is, talking to the industry itself. So when you guys do this type of stuff, when you decide to keep moving forward and having these conversations through the podcast model, what are you going to be talking about when it comes to the industry? Like if I was in the roofing and I wanted to check this out, what would I get from this?
Yeah. For me, and I'll let you answer too. So like the first guest we want to have again is Brad Bingham.
Yeah.
Insurance is the most confusing thing, I think, for everybody. I mean, you said it yourself. Insurance sucks.
Yeah, I hate it.
People don't understand it, right?
Oh, I understand it. They get all my money just in case shit happens.
Just in case.
And if shit don't happen, I don't get my money back.
No, you don't. No matter what.
That's my favorite Chris Rock bit.
But nobody knows what a freaking deductible is. Yeah. Nobody replacement cost, actual cash value. Should I file a claim? Is it going to hurt me if I file a claim? I don't know, but I think there's more people probably on our side of the fence who really don't know either.
Yeah.
So if we can bring somebody over who, again, in my mind, and we've dealt with a lot of insurance agents that knows his shit. I mean, Brad's been doing this, how long now? 20 plus. His dad did it before.
Yeah.
He's going on 25 years.
It's really fun hanging out with Brad when it's like weather is. He's like, oh, you shouldn't go there. It's going to rain. We got to get everybody out of here. I'm like, dude, relax. Relax. Okay. We don't need to worry about deductibles right now.
Yeah. But that, I think that's where we're going to begin. I mean, we have a whole list of people we want to bring in. So that's first and foremost. We have some adjusters that we know that we want them to come in. Man, the thing that drives me absolutely batshit is I'll see videos. I follow roofing guys online and they get up there and they're just yelling at adjusters and this and that. And like, I don't know, you never get your way when you're screaming at somebody.
Yeah.
So I want an adjuster's perspective. I want them to come and say, hey, here's what I have to do on this roof. And listen, there's bad adjusters just like there's bad roofers.
Sure.
But these guys that I know that we want to bring in, I trust them. They're meticulous in nature and they're going to do it right. So I want people to know that. I want other guys in the roofing business to see, man, this guy's doing a job too.
Yeah.
He's not here to try to screw anybody.
He's got a job to do.
An insurance adjuster has never written a check out of his own pocket for a roof. So he doesn't give a damn.
Right.
Do adjusters work for the insurance companies? Is that who they work for? Or are they private contractors?
All right. So that's
another.
Yes and no.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, there's staffers and then you've got independents and then you've got virtuals. So man,
is that where they bring the drone in and somebody?
No, they're not doing that so
much. They don't do that anymore, but they just bring an inspector in who's a glorified photographer.
And you talk about getting off on a tangent.
Yeah, takes a bunch of photos.
We're going to turn this real negative real quick.
We'll talk about that in episode 3 or 4.
Right.
No, screw it. Let's talk about it right now.
Okay.
So yeah, on the insurance side, and we'll have Brad talk about it more, is so in years past, they would bring an insurance adjuster out to the home. And this guy has the ability,
the authority, everything
to write a check there on the spot if it's there. Whatever has changed, and probably another question for Brad or somebody in the insurance industry who can say why they've gone to this, but now they're not sending adjusters out. I mean, 9 out of 10 times it's not an adjuster going to a home. It's a photo taker, essentially. He's an inspector. He's going to walk the property. He's going to take photos, but he's not going to tell you, is this hail damage? What kind of anomaly
can't talk
is
policy, can't talk payments, can't talk anything.
It's like the nurse coming in and taking all your blood and looking at everything, and then you going, "How's everything look?" Like, I'll let the doctor talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
The doctor will talk to you.
That's a great analogy.
It really is, because they're not going to tell you anything. We're going to turn this into somebody who sits at a desk. Yeah, that's exactly.
They're sending a packet with 100
Well, actually,
photos.
I'd say that they don't know, because they don't know who they're going to get on the other side of the desk. They send all this stuff to an adjuster who sits on the other side of the desk, who ultimately makes that determination off of photos. So, I mean, take a photo of me now. I look fantastic.
Yeah, you do.
Take a photo from over here. I look like, I don't know what I look like, but not good.
Old man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same thing there. So there's no telling what's being turned over to them. And then who knows what kind of experience, or field experience rather, that person sitting at the desk has too. So from our standpoint, it's frustrating and incredibly difficult for us and the homeowners, is because the amount of time it takes now from the inception of the claim, because this happens, or maybe it's 2-3 days a week before they even hear something back from the adjuster. And then, well, what if it's wrong?
Right.
What if this picture didn't upload and it's missed? So then we got to go back and say, no, there's this, 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 and this. So we got to go back, take more pictures, ask for a supplement. And what used to be, file a claim on Monday, adjusters out by Wednesday, we're roofing on Friday. Now it's file a claim in March, we'll supplement in June. We might roof your house in October.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. I mean, it's just,
and then there's a sense that we have to overcome of credibility because
they relate it to y'all.
What they do is they have a little bit of faith and trust in the insurance company that they've been paying all these premiums to, and they're telling them there's no damage. So why are you, Mr. Roofer? Why are you, Eric, Cody, at my house telling me, well, hold on, this was an inspector. This wasn't somebody who. So there's all these kind of hurdles that we have to overcome.
Yeah.
And again, credibility is lost because we told you to file the claim because there's absolute damage here, and your insurance came back and said, nope, there's no damage.
And it's changed our approach, and I don't like it, but we have to set the bar so low early on with the homeowner about how this is going to go. And like, listen, we're going to hope for the best, but we're going to prepare for the worst.
Right.
And so it's challenging, and it's not one carrier over another. We get asked that probably every claim. Oh, well, who's the best insurance carrier to work for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's who's the best person.
Who's going to show up at your
how do you
house?
answer that question?
Yeah. It's good. Like Brad's a good example. Brad works for Allstate, but I'm sure there's people that have worked with Allstate that like Allstate's terrible. It's like your experience with Allstate probably was terrible,
and that's valid.
But Brad's good.
But Brad does what he's supposed to do, and Brad goes above and beyond every time for every one of his customers.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing
whose
too,
phone's going off? Somebody's phone's going off. Come on, be a professional.
I'm Norm on the TikTok.
Golly.
It's always
this old guy over here, his phone's just going off.
He doesn't know how to turn it down. He doesn't know how to turn it down.
He's over here banging on the desk. His phone's going off. Okay.
The rotary at the house works perfectly.
I hit.
Is that a laugh track?
Yeah, we just hit a laugh track.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That was hilarious.
That was,
look at you.
I'm so funny. I didn't know there were that many people in the audience, to be honest.
Okay, good. Apparently the button got hit as I'm banging on the thing over here.
Damn it, Mike. But anyway, it's made the process very, very challenging for everyone. And it does suck for a homeowner. I mean, no homeowner really wants to get their roof replaced. But once you start the process, there's an expectation of, hey, I'm going to get my roof replaced.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with my cousin actually right now. They filed a claim back in March and they did total the roof. But like in any claim, there's a million different things that could potentially happen, window screens or awnings or this and that. And they missed 75% of all the other ancillary items.
Yeah.
And the adjuster's coming back saying, oh yeah, we'll just, on the end, we'll pay you. Just trust us.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We need it in writing.
Yeah. Okay. Or I'm going to trust a stranger.
But again, does he not want to take it to management? Does he not want to have to cut another check? I don't know.
Yeah.
But to Eric's point, it's mistrust all along the way.
Yeah.
So, we, as a roofer, we do what we can to try to get people to trust that we're going to tell you the truth. And the outcomes may not always be good. And we'll tell you that. Like, look, there's a lot of people that just want to file a claim. It may not go your way.
Right.
It just might not. But we're going to tell you, hey, if it doesn't, hey, we're here for you later on. We can make these repairs. It's not the end of the world. Your rates aren't going to go up because you filed a claim because of a catastrophic storm date.
Yeah.
It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bigger thing too. Like everything is so blown out of proportion with claims. Like they get their packet up, the roof's totaled, and there's 90 line items. Like what in the hell do I do with it?
It's a 14-page document. Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah.
You get a new roof, you get some new gutters, and you get a fence. That's all you really need to know. Like it just doesn't need to be blown out of proportion. And we're here to simplify that.
Provide the right information.
And that's what everybody we want to bring in, Brad, Nick from distribution, Chad from Owens Corning,
manufacturer
some
reps.
guys.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of guys who have simplified it for us and that we've gravitated to over the years who've made it a lot of fun and good for everybody involved in this. So that's the ultimate
folks
goal
that we
of this.
lean on, we want to bring on here as well.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe even some other roofers. I haven't quite decided yet. There's a couple I have a feeling that are watching right now that might even bring in.
I'm sure they're not watching right now, but
no, they're watching for sure.
Okay.
I can feel it.
Well, I actually had another lender on mine the other day, and it's good because you can just it's
what are you seeing?
There's plenty of business to go around,
Absolutely.
and if you do a good job, and what the truth is that there's plenty of business for good business people, and there's not a lot of business for people that suck at what they do. Right. So if you have somebody else that's great and does a good job on that, you can learn from them. They can learn from you. I think that stuff's always great.
We office in a complex with another roofer.
Yeah.
And he's great.
Yeah.
Got Dustin Eatman. Like if you ever watched it, he's a super good guy.
Yeah.
talked to him years ago, potentially about joining his team, and he's an honest guy, does it right. And I think the world of that guy. And there's lots of guys like that. There's no reason we can't all work together.
Yes. You need more friends in the industry and less enemies for sure.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're almost at an hour. So, you guys knocked out
fast.
50 minutes and
Wow,
really quickly. So
unbelievable.
before we wrap it up, a couple things. Number one is, leave us with a thought, what you think. Number two is, are we going to do it again? And how frequently do we think we're going to do this?
Oh,
Or, I don't mean we,
yeah.
as in like, I'm just here for the
No,
first
I
one.
hope you're here, Mike.
No,
Okay,
you might.
Okay.
Yeah,
I might be in the
Yeah,
room.
yeah,
I'll do some programming for you. Or
Right
something.
on. Yeah, we're absolutely going to do it again. I think the intent is probably to do it monthly. I don't have.
I think
much
monthly's
to
great.
Say.
I think monthly, you have a lot to say.
I know my business coach Tanya. If I didn't follow through and do at least one more, she'd probably kill me.
Okay.
But no, we're going to do that at least once a month. And for a thought, I think I said it early on. Is like, look, I'm not pretending to be, this great expertise or expert, the know-all of everything.
Quit sandbagging. Come on. buddy.
No, I mean, it truly. But
It's coming at the end.
But
just
if I can be somewhat of a consultant to bring people together where we can all learn together and get educated. And again, if you take a 15-second soundbite out of some of these episodes that make you a better roofer or a more educated homeowner, that's all I want from this. And if we can bring more people into the industry or more people to our company, even better, who do it the right way, that's all we want to get from this. I mean, we're not. I have no crazy thoughts of us turning into Rogan by any means from doing this. But if there's one person that takes something away, I think that'd be fantastic.
That's awesome. Eric?
Yeah, I would agree. I think we'll definitely do it again. Monthly is probably a great cadence for this platform. And it's similar to what we've talked about. Kind of the whole theme would be, just as anything you do in your life, you're going to research a little bit. I mean, the internet's got vast amounts of information out there. So whatever your topic is that you're looking forward to go do on Saturday or whatever it is, you're going to research it. So just learn a little bit about the process of claims and insurance and roofing, and give us a call. We're honest. We're going to give you the best answer that we can give you with what's in front of us. And we're going to try to guide you through that tumultuous, scary, daunting insurance claim. So just give us an opportunity. We'd love to earn your business. That's kind of our thing, is we want to earn your business. We want to do it the right way. And so give us a call.
See, Eric's on the, he knows
He's selling, man.
He's selling. See, you're over here talking about podcasts. He's like, call me so I can do a roof, bro. That's right. I love
ABC,
it.
ABC.
All right, guys.
That's why I hired him, man.
This
Hey,
was,
real quick though. One last thing,
Uh-huh.
Mike Mills, you're the man. Like truly,
Why?
we've talked about.
I identify as a man.
Whoa. Okay. Good to know. We're going to cross all boundaries.
That's
here.
right. That's right.
But no, truly, thank you for
Absolutely
facilitating this,
Yeah.
and bringing us to the table, and all of the help you've provided and insight
Information,
into this
absolutely.
side of the thing.
Happy to.
If I can bring more people to you to do this,
Please.
if you got the bandwidth for it, I will do
Hey,
it. But really,
second
really
career,
appreciate it.
maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Right on. But no, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
my pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
this was a lot of fun, and we'll do it again. We'll do a little more promo next time. This will be nice and buttoned up the next time we do this. I got
This
good
wasn't
feelings.
buttoned up. This is
Well,
all
no, I mean, this was good. This was just
we're tight.
yeah, we just showed up. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like the talk will be the same. It's
Okay.
the pre
All right.
and the
Good.
post and all the other stuff. So, all right, guys.
All right.
Well, everybody have a good weekend. And
Happy Labor Day.
hopefully
Happy
it
Labor Day.
hails,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
hail. Let's get a fall storm.
Not till Tuesday.
not
though.
till
We're gonna
Tuesday.
enjoy
Not
the
till
weekend.
Tuesday. See you guys.
All right,
everybody.
take care.
Later.